Polls find majority of Americans say country is heading in the wrong direction. The Democrats have a lot of problems, and this one isn't even in the top 3 in my opinion. No, not in the top 2. The vast majority of Americans across party lines are unhappy with the state of the US and new set of polling finds. In an AP/NRC survey released Wednesday, 85% of US adults say that things in the country are headed in the wrong direction, with just 14% believing things are going in the right direction. That's a more pessimistic reading than in May, when 78% said things were headed the wrong way and 21% that things were generally moving in the right direction. Currently, both 92% of Republicans and 78% of Democrats are dissatisfied with the direction of the country, the highest number among Democrats since President Joe Biden took office last year. Only 20% of Americans describe the nation's economy as good, with 79% calling it poor. According to the AP/NRC poll, this sentiment too is relatively bipartisan, with both 90% of Republicans and 67% of Democrats describing the economy as poor. So this is definitely a self-inflicted Democrat issue, but you can always promise change. Hope and change was the slogan for Barack Obama, right? He was a good candidate, though a bad president in my opinion. So Kamala Harris can just do the same, right?
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Are you stupid? I mean, everybody thinks things are bad, and you go, yeah, and I did it, and I'll do more of the same. It's the most obvious, brainless step to take to promise change. Hope and change. Vote for me, I'll make your life better. Instead you go, I made your life bad and I'll make it even more so. Just vote for me for the status quo. Huh? Just where are the Democrat Party strategists? How come the presenters, the figureheads, are a man so old, and I'm not just talking about age, he just is in cognitive decline and it's obvious, and a woman who's exceedingly unlikable and needs a teleprompter in order to answer any question. Can anyone explain this to me? It's just, how did the Democratic Party, which were, marketing geniuses during the Obama campaign, deteriorate to this level? They're utterly incompetent. The second problem they have, which is self-inflicted, is embodied in this lovely Babylon Bee article. Democrats explained Trump was going to be Hitler during his first term, but he forgot. Democrats have warned that if elected a second time, Donald Trump will be an evil dictator just like Adolf Hitler. When asked why Trump didn't become Hitler during his first term, Democrats explained that he simply forgot. Trump meant to be Hitler, but he forgot, explained Vice President Harris in a press conference at the White House. Being Hitler just totally slipped his mind. Make no mistake, if Trump is elected again, he absolutely plans to turn into Hitler and probably will write himself a reminder this time. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's pretty much what we have right now. Trump is not an unknown quantity anymore, like he was in 2016. He was already president for a term. We know how he's going to govern. We know what the person's like. And he's not a dictator. So calling him just like Hitler over and over, saying that he's fascist and Nazi and whatever, is not gonna work. You could say, well, he became more extreme than last time. You could say he's going to be a bad, weaponize the justice system like the Democrats do. Or you could make specific claims that he'll be worse than he was last time. But if you go that far with hyperboles, and people still have a memory of, hey, actually, 4 years ago he was president, it's not gonna work. And it's the same with you saying, we are the ones who did this to you. The Harris campaign, the Harris presidency, potentially, is just the same as the Biden presidency. Right? Harris is the one who made the country the way it is that you don't like, and she'll do more of the same. She will do just what Joe Biden would have done. Well, in 2020, Trump was a president of a country earlier world under a pandemic. And we've done some very strange and unprecedented things, like quarantining healthy people for the first time in history with this pandemic. The economy was very bad because of it. So you could say, well, things are bad not just because of the pandemic, but also because Trump botched the treatment, because he made mistakes, because he didn't prepare us enough. You could make that argument, and it was logical to an extent. I think it was wrong, but it was logical. It was acceptable. Now people can go, wait, but before the pandemic, it was good under Trump, and after the pandemic, it's bad under Biden. So clearly, Trump is a good steward of the economy, and Biden isn't. And Kamala Harris says, well, actually, it was me all along. I was involved in all of these decisions, and I agreed with them, and I'll do more of the same. I wouldn't have done anything differently, even in hindsight. It's just, who would fall for this? Unless you are a bleed blue no matter who, votes Democrat all the time, even if it's a glass of water with a D on it. Well, other than that, nobody will fall for it. And that's why I find it very strange that the polls are so tight, so close. I mean, really? Almost everyone thinks the country is headed in the wrong direction, the economy is poor, Kamala Harris promises more of the same, but she gets half the votes? How is that even possible? Not only that, it's just Kamala Harris is very unlikable. I've never heard anyone say, oh yeah, she's amazing. It's just, she's very unlikable. She's not photogenic at all. She's not presentable. She has a very strange and annoying cackle that she does it inopportune and inappropriate times. And she needs a teleprompter to be able to answer any questions, and all of her answers are, but Trump. I mean, like him or hate him, Trump is at least interesting. And a lot of people like him. I know some people don't like him. I know that personality-wise, especially some women don't find him somewhat off-putting. But he has substance that make people vote for him despite disliking him in some cases. Can anyone say the same of Kamala Harris? I mean, she wasn't even elected. She didn't stand for election. And when she did beforehand, like in the 2020, I believe, primaries, she didn't manage to get a single elector. Nobody liked her. She was the first to drop out. And she didn't even bother having a proper manifesto in her website of her positions and her policies until very late in the race. Later than anyone in history, basically. And even now that she has something there, it's just a word salad full of vague promises, opportunity economy, and other nonsense. Like, she doesn't have any concrete policy other than one she picked off Trump. Like, did you see, I believe, in CNN interview, where they basically told her, you said the wall is an awful idea and some sort of like medieval trophy and a megalomaniac project of Trump's, and now you're saying that you'd build a wall. And she was just blubbering. She had no answer to that. Like, what policies does she have? Yeah, tax on tips. No tax on tips, like Trump said. And now he won up there and said, basically, let's just abolish all taxes and run the government off tariffs. Which, in my opinion, is a very good idea if you could pull it off. You'd have some trouble for now because, how to put it, the way the economy has been run right now, with a lot of printing and high taxes to sort of get some of the money that you've printed out of circulation to control inflation, it will be a bit difficult to make the transition. But if you managed it after a bit of tight times, I think things will improve drastically for everyone, except the large corporations, of course. But I don't know if he'll actually manage to pull it off, but it's a good policy to work towards. Anyway, she doesn't really have any policies of her own that are popular with anyone. She basically had to poach Trump's policies to have anything to show. It's just, what are the Democrat strategists doing? It used to be normal to promise things you never intended to deliver. And instantly, Trump ran in 2020 on promises made, promises kept. He literally ran through hundreds of items that he promised. For example, if we're talking about the climate change agenda, he actually did something for the climate, for the environment, sorry, not the climate, by cleaning the beaches and the oceans. He had projects to clean, plastics and oil spills and stuff like that off. And I thought it was a great thing, And he made a promise and he kept it. And he had lots of items like that on the list that he basically ran on in 2020. And I thought that was an amazing thing to see. A president that goes, I am accountable to my public. What exactly does Kamala Harris promise you specifically? Other than I'm not Trump, of course. And I'll do some of the things Trump promised you because you like them. I just want to be elected. Just whatever you like. But even that she does incompetently. It's bizarre to me. Like, I grew up in a world where politicians were polished, where elections were made on the basis of a popularity contest, where people honestly made a big effort to be popular. Now it feels as though the Democrats don't give a damn. They don't care at all. They just throw somebody out there who's not, competent and not a good figurehead, not a good presenter, and let them give some vague promises, most of which are not even popular. They won't even promise you hope and change anymore. It's just, yeah, we made the country the way it is and we'll just keep going. And nobody thinks it's strange that they still get 50% or more in the polls? Are you serious? No, that's enough for me. Thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.